So I wanted to ask about AI and advertising, just to sort of level set, sort of what are some examples, use cases that AI is useful for, and what is Xaxis um, implementing it?
Sure. So there are many different examples of AI in advertising, particularly in the effectiveness space. So some examples include, finding and defining audiences, creative decisioning, product recommendation, measurement, optimization, and really stitching it all together. And so at Xaxis, back in 2015, we developed a proprietary AI called Copilot that was purpose built to streamline bidding and investment decisioning towards client goals through customizable machine learning models. So it really helps us optimize to clients' KPIs and business outcomes.
So, what are some of the KPIs that the brands want and that you're solving with AI?
Yeah, so I think there are a variety of clients that we work with that are in different phases of their brand maturity. And so for a client maybe starting out in digital, they might be using some simple KPIs, cost per, maybe efficient CPM, click-through rate, conversion rate, things like that in platform. And then the more sophisticated clients become, the more they look to, ROI, ROAS, conversion metrics. And then ultimately where we have the most fun with our clients is where we do something custom. So we're able to create custom KPIs that measure maybe footfall traffic to, drive online to in-store, that measure custom, cost pers based on a specific audience, and really drilling down to something bespoke to their business and their business model. So it really runs the gamut of media metrics to efficiency metrics to custom metrics.
Let's talk about efficiency because there's a lot of talk about the lack of efficiency in the programmatic ecosystem. Talk about efficiency and what AI means for programmatic and more broadly ad ops.
Sure. I think when we say efficiency or lack of efficiency, we're really speaking to what's manual and the complexities and how long it takes to do certain things. And so I think programmatic's it's an extremely complex ecosystem. You mentioned ad ops. Ad ops is an extremely complex ecosystem to make sure the campaign architecture, audience architecture is set up correctly for a specific media campaign. And so because of all of these complexities, we've spent years and years building up this expertise in people to understand how to utilize these ad technologies. And so, the true promise of programmatic and AI is to automate as much as possible and streamline so we can free up human resource and human time to do other things. And so I think, AI is great for, automating decisions that a human can make quickly. So A or B, this works more than this. And so the more that we can leverage AI and machine learning to make those quick decisions for us, the more we can free up the human capacity to focus more on strategy, insights, new projects, the next technology versus just trying to man the existing complex systems that we have to use to make the magic happen.
And there's a lot of concerns about privacy. Of course, that's driving a lot of changes in our industry. How does AI fit into both privacy concerns and ethics, which, is sort of something that's mentioned along with AI oftentimes? How does ethics fit into it? And how is sort of this move to privacy accelerated perhaps the use of AI?
Sure. So I think obviously everything in AI is taught by a human. And so when we're looking at ethics, we need to make sure that the human inputs are sound and that we're creating the right guidelines for the AI to do what we want it to do safely, legally, ethically, et cetera. So if you put garbage in, you get garbage out, right? So if you're feeding the algorithms unethical or unsafe data or poor inventory to run against with programmatic, you're going to see that output. So for us, it's about making sure the media that we're running has the right guardrails, brand safe. We're running on high quality media. The data that we're using is legal, ethically sourced. and that the collection and the use of that data is privacy compliant as well. So if you create the right boundaries and guardrails for AI when you're writing that code, then you're able to have the outputs live within those boundaries. So I think some of the fear of lack of ethics in AI is really when it sort of goes wild and you don't have the right guardrails in place. So the humans are ultimately responsible for the AI and the decisioning. So we need to be very aware of the human biases that we're coding in, our methodologies for sourcing data, the inventory quality, so that we can be as brand safe and ethical as possible in the outputs of what the algorithms are working towards.
I just wanted to, ask you, briefly kind of, how things are at the agency and what you guys sort of how you look at 2021.
Sure. So things are going well. I think, as you mentioned earlier, there's a ton of productivity and efficiency happening, even though we're all continuing to work remotely for many months now and into the new year. And the future, we're very optimistic for 2021. Copilot, as I mentioned, is going to continue to be a big focus and drumbeat of what we do. Working through things like cookie lists will continue to be a focus of ours. Internally at the company, we're doing a lot surrounding DEI efforts and making sure we have the right foundations in place for our talent to thrive next year. So I'm about 6 months in, and we've got a great foundation for some of the goals that we have next year to help guide our clients and continue to guide our clients through these challenging times. But there's no better medium than programmatic media to do so, because it's extremely flexible, and we can help our clients roll with the punches as we continue into 2021 in the pandemic.